Today in the Smugglers room, oh, come on! Son of a... We build an Aliens Motion Tracker to help prevent this kind of thing. That's coming up. What's up, you awesome geeks? I'm Brian Thompson, and welcome to the Smugglers Room, the show where each week this chubby geek tries to build something ridiculous, pass on a few tips, and inspire you to take on your own wild and crazy projects. This week we're going to attempt to build our own custom version of the Aliens Motion Tracker, using an old tool that's abandoned that I had in the shop. We're going to use this tool to try to get us as close as we can to the original prop, using nothing but the parts I have here or that we can 3D print. So let's get after it. As I said, in starting this project, I wanted to use this old non-working tool as the base of the tracker. We salvaged this last summer when cleaning out my grandfather's shop. I can't tell you what it is. If you know, drop a comment below, I'd like to know. Outside of that, I had this 3D printed greebly from another project that I made, this piece from an old DirecTV box, a simply limeade lid, and this broken sprinkler timer. The original movie prop was created by prop master Terry Reed and is based on the Kango 426 hammer drill casing and a Hama slide viewer. The images you see here are from the Hollywood Collectibles Group, and they have a very nice replica for sale on their site. I'll list the link below. The Kango hammer drill is a tough item to find if you're looking to build a 100% authentic prop. I have seen them on occasion on eBay, but be prepared to spend a good chunk of that hard-earned green to get one. The slide viewer seen here is not the Hama original, but it's similar and is the best image I could find. I have seen originals on eBay for this as well from time to time, and their prices vary from anywhere from $25 to as much as $115. All in all, however, for our build, like most of what I do, it's something out of nothing, or in this case, something out of junk I had laying around the shop. Okay, so let's build something already. The first thing I had to do was take this old beast apart and clean it up. I have to tell you, that was more of a job than I had in mind. The inside was a filthy mess of grease, dirt, and what have you. Once I had it pretty well broken down, I removed any components that were not needed so that I was pretty much left with just the shell. Oh, yeah, and there was still more cleaning to do. Once all the parts are cleaned up, I could start looking at how to add elements and get this closer to the look I wanted. At this stage, I'm working out ways to make the project unique, adding elements to something that not only adds interest, but also disguises what it might originally have been. We don't want someone to look at the prop and say, oh yeah, that's a drill with a water sprinkler timer glued to it. At least, I hope that's not what people say when we're done. Now I am using a 3D printed part for this build. I just didn't have anything in the shop that resembled the viewer. The viewer is the one element that really sells the look, and it needs to be at least close to the original prop. This viewer I modeled in Fusion 360 for a whole other project, but that's another episode. The viewer was the next part I assembled. I needed to see what it would look like on the tool so I would know that the project would look good enough to continue and how to move forward. Kit bashing a build like this for me is more about how it feels going along. I don't really plan a build like this, it sort of just happens. Kind of like Bob Ross's Happy Little Trees.
Now then, let's decide. Maybe there's a happy tree, evergreen tree. He lives right there. Start with just...
yeah. Maybe not. Okay, so back to the build. Since I'm working with a 3D printed part, I wanted a little help getting it paint ready. If you've ever worked with a 3D printed material, you know that it takes an amazing amount of sanding, filling, sanding, and more sanding to get the finish you want. Smooth-On makes a product called XTC 3D, and it's pretty great stuff. It's not overly expensive and it's easy to work with. It self-levels and the finished result really helps you get to the goal line. It's sticky stuff and a little goes a long way, but once you get to the hang of working with it, you'll know when it's worth using. If you do a lot of 3D prints, I recommend you check out Bill and Brittany Doran of Punish Props Academy. They have a full series on 3D printing that covers a ton of aspects. It's 100% worth your time, and I'll link their channel below. The next step was to paint all the parts I have chosen thus far, minus the viewer. I wanted to assemble the finished pieces as I went. The viewer will have some electronics, so once I sanded it down, I drilled another hole for the small switch. The idea was to have lighting inside the viewer that would illuminate the motion tracker aspect. That failed, and I'll show you why in a little bit. I did continue to add small bits as I went along to add interest as well. By the way, you'll see a good deal of painting results that I did off camera. Sorry, I just didn't think watching me paint would be on anyone's top 10. Okay, so let's talk about the wiring. I failed a bit here. Originally I wanted LEDs to illuminate the inside of the viewer. The issue was I didn't have enough LEDs to make it bright enough, so what you're seeing is the first run of wiring that up. What I ended up doing later is simply putting a single red LED in the top of the viewer to give it light. I needed more light to achieve the original goal, but even the one single LED gave life to the prop. The circuit is simple. An LED, a resistor with a toggle switch between the LED and the battery case, which is a pair of AA's. It's a bit overkill, but again, it's what I had on hand. For the actual image of the motion tracker, I went super low tech. I found a decent graphic online of the tracker, printed it out to size, and then took off the clear plastic wrapping from a package and cut that to match the size of the printed graphic. The plastic gives the appearance of a glass window. Well, sort of. I'm sure there are other better ways to achieve this, and I'd love to hear any ideas you all might have. For me, this was quick, easy, affordable, and it was something I already had. The next step to consider was the shoulder strap. I had a pair of hangers perfect for the job. They're called Hillman Steel D-rings, and they come in all shapes and sizes. I got these here from Ace Hardware for $4. I wanted to quickly mention that this front piece is not the simply limeade cap I intended to use, but instead a projector lens adjuster and the plastic cap from a pond pump. We still need to add the actual straps, but before that I wanted to bring in some various tubing similar to the actual prop. I had some leftover black PVC tube used for my evaporative cooler repair this summer, and it was perfect for the job. I also stripped down some coax cable that I had and exposed the silver core. I terminated an RG6 to one side, similar to what you have on your cable box. I then screwed that into the terminal on the electronics piece from my old DirecTV box. There isn't any silver on the original prop, but I thought it would look good. Finally, I added a couple other minor parts for interest, and then I fashioned an easy sling out of webbing and clips that I saved from other projects. Okay, the last step before sealing and calling this done is to weather it a bit. Some people like their props clean and looking brand new, but that's not me. Space is a dirty, grimy place, and your space guns, props, and costumes take a beating. At least in the sci-fi movies I watch, that is. I'm using a mix of black and burnt sienna, latex paints with little water and a damp paper towel. I also have a completely dry brush to help soak up any of the hard-to-reach areas. The idea is to get the paint down in the crevices, the low edges, where dirt and grime would build up naturally, places that would be hard to clean. I also want to leave a bit of stain on the surface to show some buildup there as well. I am planning a series of painting videos and techniques soon as well, so keep an eye on the channel for that in the coming months. Alright geeks, that's our custom Aliens Motion Tracker build. It's probably good enough to alert us of any oncoming xenomorph. And if I get here, I can use this to take care of business. So we hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Did I mention I missed you guys? I did. So this week's ridiculous project where we hope and did I turn it on the clay